I am the Narcopath. I'm here to give you a few more confessions, as if I haven't told you enough already. But it's part of my deal. Stay tuned.
I know when we dated you were really confused because you noticed how quiet I was when we first met. I was soaking in your vibe, if you know what I mean. I know how you expressed to me just how heartbroken you were because of your last lover who cheated and lied. Well, honey, I couldn't tell you, but cheating and lying's my specialty. So what I did was, when you told me about how horrible your evil ex was and how she lied and cheated, well, I put on a sympathetic face, which I've practiced. Oh, that's so terrible. No one should have ever done that to you. You don't deserve that, I would say. And then I would proceed to try to mirror you. What better reference do I have for such a thing than myself? When I listen to your stories about how she lied to you about where she was going and how you found where she really was and you saw her at the no-tell motel and all that. Well, when you were telling me all that, I was reliving my own experience where I had done the same thing to my ex. Well, I used creativity, and in order to make you believe that I knew exactly what you were going through, I would just retell one of my own stories that I did to my exes, and I just switched characters. Instead of it being me, which it was, who was leading somebody on for the longest time and then finding someone else, well, I switched the story around, switched the roles around, and told you how I know exactly what you're going through. I was dating someone who did the same thing to me.
Well, this brings us now, in this portion of the confession, to some of the conversations we used to have. I know that you know that when we met, I mirrored you so well I had you convinced that I had the same fears and phobias you did about being abandoned, even though I'm the queen of abandonment. But I couldn't tell you that at the time. My goal was to make you think that I was just like you as far as honoring fidelity, honoring being honored. Well,
You probably remember some of our conversations, especially after I made such a big deal about how I demanded faithful partners and how I demanded to be respected and told you how horrible it was my exes cheated and replaced me, even though I was recreating my own history and projecting it on the ex, but you didn't need to know that. Well, I know that you probably had a lot of questions, which I could tell because you asked them. Remember, after you caught me the first time, I know you questioned me and you were looking for some kind of explanation that would make sense. And do you recall what I did when you asked me? I mean, especially after all that time of me telling you how I knew exactly what it was like to have such a thing done, and then for you to find out I'm doing the same exact thing to you? If I was a real person, you'd be onto something there. I would have had a healthy debate with you about exactly how I must have misinformed you. But because my intellect doesn't include self-reflection, whatever that is. Notice how whenever you brought up such things, how could I do that, especially after all we talked about? Well, you'd notice I never had anything intelligent to say about that. Do you recall? What I would say would be something more along the lines of, oh, what are you complaining about that for? What about the time that you had done this to me? Which totally bypassed me having to even address your concern. And do you want to know why that was over and over and over again in our history? The fact is, I have to win. I have to be right. Well, with that question, you're clearly right and you're accurate. I couldn't say, oh, you got me there, honey. So what did I do instead? I deflected the conversation elsewhere. I blamed you for something that you did. Because the fact is, I am the Narcopath. I'm nothing but a hollow shell. And even though I spent all that time trying to mirror you and show you how important being faithful is to me, and then turn around and had sex with the entire football team behind your back, well, when you confronted me on that, what am I supposed to say? Especially since I've got to win. Do you think I'm going to say, oh, my dear, you're right? No, honey. I just turned the conversation around to something you did because I am retarded and I'm still a child. Deal with it.